Yo guys, what's going on? It's Shauno here, and today we're going to be looking through some leveling builds with phase 2 literally just days away, and a lot of people have been asking me, so I'm going to give you 3 really good builds that you can use, but it depends on the situation. So firstly, I'm going to give you a fire build. This is going to be for dungeon running. I wouldn't recommend it out in the open world, but if you're just planning to stay in dungeons, then this is one of the best specs you can have. So this will be the talents at level 25. So you'll have 2 in elemental precision, 5 in improved fireball, 5 in ignite, 1 in pyroblast, 2 in burning soul, and 1 in improved flame strike. Now how we'll develop this one is we'll go 2 more in improved flame strike, then we'll go 3 in master of elements, then we're going to put 1 into flame throwing, then we're going to have 3 in critical mass, 1 in blast wave, 1 more in flame throwing, and the rest in firepower. Now this is strictly for dungeons doing AoE, which is why we have got flame strike. Now what we'll be taking is burnout, living flame, living bomb, and hot streak. If you get it, we have no idea about these runes, but if you do get it early, you'll be using hot streak, or you can use missile barrage. We'll just play it by ear, get the best slot that you can as soon as you can. Now the playstyle for this build is you're just going to be using living bomb on all of the mobs. When you're not using living bomb, you can use flame strike. If it's single target, you can use fireball. This is going to be very strong for AoE. It's going to cost a lot of mana, but it is incredibly strong for dungeons because you've got strong single target damage and you've got good AoE damage. So if you're a fire enjoyer, this is probably one of the best ones you can do. Unfortunately, we don't get to use combustion at all because we're taking elemental precision, which means some of these later talents won't get much use. Next, we'll be looking at the new AoE build using Frost. This will be used if you plan to AoE farm out in the open world or if you want to solo dungeons. With Living Flame being nerfed, you can no longer face tank mobs and just heal up like in phase 1. So this time we'll be taking these Frost talents, traditional Frost build with Fingers of Frost, Living Flame, and living bomb. Obviously the waist and the foot, again, just use the best one that you pick up along the way. These will be the talents at level 25. Now from here you'll want to fill out shatter, then you want to take ice block, arctic reach, frost channeling, then you finish ice shards and ice barrier. Now the way this works is very similar to the old style with using blizzard. The difference is this time we're using Fingers of Frost, which gives your chill effects 15% chance to grant the Fingers of Frost effect, which treat your next 2 spell casts as if the target were frozen. Now spell cast is the important thing here because we're using Living Flame and Living Bomb, and with Shatter it's going to increase the critical strike chance. So Living Bomb is going to crit, Living Flame is going to crit, and it's going to be tons and tons of AoE damage. Now where this build suffers is it's not very good in open world questing. So you wouldn't take this build if you're planning to quest. You would only take it if you want to get ahead of the curve and do AoE farming, or you want to AoE farm in the dungeons. But you will still have to kite the mobs with improved blizzard, because if you don't know the pathing and everything, then you will die very quickly. It's not like phase 1 AoE Mage where you could just face tank things and never die. So this takes a bit of skill to use, but if you can use it, it will be one of the fastest, especially solo leveling through dungeons. Now the last build we'll be looking at is the one that I'm planning to use myself. I'm taking this build because I'm planning to do some dungeons, but I also want to do open world questing, so it gives me a bit of flexibility. It gives me strong AoE, decent single target damage, but I can also go out in the world, self-sustain, AoE, you know, whatever situation occurs, I can change a rune and deal with it. So for this at level 25, we'll be using 5 out of 5 improved arcane missiles, 2 out of 5 arcane focus, 5 out of 5 arcane concentration, 3 out of 3 improved arcane explosion, and I've taken 1 out of 2 in 1 spec, but you could also take arcane meditation. We're going to fill it out like this. So the next talent will be 1 spec and then you will take 2 in Arcane Meditation, 1 in Arcane Resilience, 1 in Presence of Mind, 4 in Arcane Mind, 3 in Arcane Instability, 1 more in Arcane Mind, 1 more in Arcane Meditation, and then Arcane Power. So again, like I said, this is a good all-round build. You can use 1 damage, you can use Arcane Missiles damage, and you can also AoE. For the chest rune, we'll be taking regeneration if we're healing dungeons or if we are wanting to self-sustain out in the world. Otherwise, if you're good for healing, then inside the dungeon you can take burnout. For the leg rune, we'll be using Living Flame. This is a very powerful spell. It doesn't heal as much for AoE in phase 2, but it's still very strong to use. For the hand rune, we'll be using Living Bomb, but we can change this out for Arcane Blast if it's single target. So if we need to kill a certain quest mob or kill a boss, so we could just swap our hands for this. I'll have some gloves with Living Bomb on, and I'll have some gloves with Arcane Blast on, so I can quickly change when I'm out of combat. For these runes, like I said, you'll just use the best of what you get. Hopefully we get Missile Barrage very early on. If we do, then Arcane will be exceptional. So yeah, this is the build I'm planning to use. I think it's the best build all round, but depending on your goals, there might be some better options for you. Take the fire build if you're planning to just do dungeons and nothing else. If you're going to get the runes at 40, that's absolutely fine. Use fire. If you're planning to solo level in dungeons or you want to AoE out in the open world, I would recommend using the Frost Blizzard build. But if you're not really sure and you're looking for a best all-round spec, then Arcane will be the one to use, and this spec will be very good in all situations. Hopefully that will help some people. I've been getting questions about this every single day. So yeah, I'll be using this build. I'll be going straight into BFD on launch to get that reset out the way. It's going to give 60% of a level. And then I'll be doing some dungeon farming. But if my friends go to sleep or whatever, then I don't have to respec. I can go straight out into the open world. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good day.